Welcome to the SelfLove podcast with Steph, Aysha, and Josie. We are spiritual life coaches. Join us in our flow as we share our journey towards our soul's purpose while co-creating a conscious community and raising your vibration. Get ready to meet your highest self and discover your true, unique power. Let's dive right in. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the SelfLove podcast. How are we feeling today, ladies?
I'm feeling great. Glad to be here. Aysha, how are you feeling?
Oh my God, highly blessed and favored to be here, to give back, to see you beautiful ladies. It's a good day. It's Friday.
It's Friday. We're going to have another amazing episode for you, our listeners. We have a very special holiday episode today. We're going to be talking about relationships and what is no longer in alignment in terms of letting go of current relationships, intimate friendships, in all forms, and leaving that in the past and moving forward to new connections, making new connections, relationships.
We wanted to bring a special holiday season episode where we talk about relationships because we realize this is a time when, everybody goes back home, they can reconnect with family. And sometimes even that is difficult to navigate through, as we develop in this journey of self-development. Not everybody develops with us, or people develop in different rates. Everybody has their own path. So how to navigate going back home, or maybe you're in a season where it is about you and not necessarily all the relationships in your life, and how to navigate being okay with that as well. So welcome to holiday special SelfLove episode.
Yes. Well, the most important relationship that you can have is with yourself. Right? When you can give, receive love to you, that essentially that's like the starting point and foundation to build healthy relationships in all forms.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I know for me, I've really been working on myself this year, and to be able to give back to the people that I love and be there emotionally and physically for them definitely does come with self-love first. And I just love this episode that we're doing today because I am so blessed to have such amazing family and friends a part of my life. I feel like I've naturally gravitate towards trustworthy people, and that's why I have a great community within myself, like within my world. And so when we go to these holiday events, it's filled with love and joy and laughter. But I also know that not everybody has it. And I've been part of different communities this past 6 months, and even moving forward, more like Facebook communities. And being that I live in San Diego, a lot of people come to San Diego and their families in another state. And so for them, it's very important to stay within community and get together. You hear of Friendsgivings, right? Friendsgivings. My daughter just had a Friendsgiving dinner, and that is important to be around those people. And it doesn't always have to be in person. It can be like through Zoom, as we're doing now. And yeah, just giving that to other people and receiving back, like that circle of life type thing.
Beautiful. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Community is something that is very important. As humans, we're social animals. Like we we yes, definitely we go through seasons of isolation, but ultimately, I believe we're meant to be in a tribe, in a soul tribe, in community and connections that feed us and we feed them and that support us, and there's power to people. And when there's more people together, and sometimes it's not always about just more either. Like I do believe it's quality over quantity.
Mhm.
And so if you have like one or two really close friends, like I've had seasons of life where I was in so much isolation from my past community and I hadn't found my present soul tribe yet. And I had one or two really good friends. And that helped me survive. And so it's about quality, I would say, for sure. For sure. But they can change your life. Community can change your life. And if you don't feel that about your community that you're currently in, then it's probably time to release, like what we were saying. Steph, what you said, I think the year ending is a really good time to release all that needs to be shed as the seasons are changing. The trees outside are shedding their leaves as well, right?
Yeah, I noticed too as I started focusing inward on myself, on, when I went on a self-love journey and I started working and healing certain parts of me, I noticed that as I became more connected, as I was healing, I became more connected to myself.
Mm.
And I felt like as I was opening up my heart in that process, that I was able to bring to life or birth different types of relationships, or the type of relationships that I actually wanted in my life, the relationships that were more in depth, more that had more depth to it. um but that didn't happen until I really started looking inward and started doing the deep work, the deep healing work, and really putting that holding that mirror up in front of me, and asking um those questions that we tend to avoid, that, yeah, we just, our shadows, I had to come truth with my shadows, and ask myself, because there was a moment, a season in my life that I started, as I evolved and started growing, I started reflecting on these friendships and realized that these weren't the type of friendships that I wanted. I felt myself outgrowing certain friendships, and it was a difficult season to for me, like I tend to want to bring everybody with me, and so the thought of leaving them because they're no longer serving or adding value into my life, it was a very scary thought. But if you have friendships, or are involved in a relationship that you feel no longer in alignment with, my biggest suggestion would be to look inward and see, yeah, to look inward.
What are some things you do to foster a healthy relationship? I know for me, like it's setting boundaries. So I want to know what you ladies think. Steph, I know you're going to say something.
Yeah, definitely setting boundaries is huge. Being able to say no, because I was the yes gal. I would say yes to everything and everyone to please everyone as well. Recovering people pleaser.
Here.
Yeah,
We all are.
yeah, definitely. As long as everybody else was happy, even if I didn't want to do something, as long as like the majority wanted to do the thing, I would just say yes. And I felt like I wasn't honoring myself. I wasn't being authentic to myself. And so honoring, being authentic, being honest with myself, and loving myself, actually loving myself, and knowing that um it all starts with me, like I get to make sure that I'm taken care of, that I'm giving back to me, that my cup is full first before anything else.
Mm.
So yeah, being able to say no, so setting boundaries and loving myself.
Beautiful, Steph. I think a lot of what you say is very much in harmony with that concept of inner reflects outer. And I always say this on here. It's so true that when we do that internal work and we prioritize ourselves first instead of everybody else, I genuinely believe that only helps the outside world, the outer, because then we're able to show up from a much more grounded and loving place, our hearts open, because we've already filled our cup. I think it's the same for me. I think it's in that realization, realizing when something isn't aligning. That's probably the most difficult phase in all of this, is when you finally realize that something really isn't in alignment, and then you have to let that go and make peace with that, be okay with that. And know there's seasons. It's not always about creating enemies or burning bridges, but it's about knowing that there's different seasons in our lives. And if somebody isn't adding value to your life, it's just bringing you down in a way, bringing energetically, your energy is getting leaked. For
Hmm.
me, realizing those things. And then when I realize that, then I can pull myself back, kind of bring my power back to myself, my energy back to myself, and then cater to myself. And then I can show up better for others and create healthier relationships. I think what everything else you said to Steph, the truth, honesty, integrity, prioritizing others too, I do believe the relationships that last are the ones where there's equal efforts being put by both sides. Just like us, even with this podcast, right? We have time put aside where we come together, and that is a priority. And replying back to the text in our group chat, that is a priority. So, prioritizing relationships, I think a lot of us feel like we're just entitled to them. A lot of people feel like they're entitled to your time, to your relationship, to your energy, and that's so not how it works for me. I'm like, my energy is a prize, like it's a gift. It truly is light, and I know I could also trigger a lot of people in that sense too. So I want people who are into also self development, self growth. They have an open mind, because I know I very much function this way, and it makes sense if I'm around people who are open to that too, because they're gonna get light shed on their shadow. As healers, I do believe we do that naturally. And so it's good to know the energetics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you brought up the energetic aspect of it, Aisha, because I always say your energy is everything. That's like my new saying.
Love that.
Your energy is everything, and energetically, I feel like your soul just knows too whether this person is for you, and your soul knows like who you want to be around, who's, energetically, it's almost like energetically who's your match
Vibrationally.
vibrationally, right? And not to say like, we're all in different places, like what you said about seasons and, cycles, right? You may be in a season where you feel a little bit more introverted, where, you feel like you need to focus on your relationship with you, with yourself, and that's okay. And then you may be in a season where you want to be a little bit more extroverted. You want to go out and network and build community and build that friendship, or find that your soulmate. And yeah, there's a time and place for all of that, and both can coexist as well.
Josie, I have a question for you. As a mom of three, how do you handle the holiday seasons? I think a lot of women go through that. I think it's a completely different experience as a mom.
Yeah, I mean, in general, just being a mom is always so busy and it does heighten over the holidays. And this is why I like this topic of relationships, because when you are surrounded with good people, people that love you, that care about you, that want to support you, you have someone to turn to when you are going through your struggles and when you just want to vent. Um, and so it's nice to have that support, um, almost like as a foundation. I know, there's different seasons in life, but if you could really build a support
Mm.
group, community, I think that's the biggest thing that helps me definitely get through the holidays, but I think moms in general too. And it's very important for moms to ask for help. I have to say, a lot of us want to do it on our own. We think we can do it all on our own, and people do want to help us. People do. They just don't know that we need help. And so when you ask for help, it not only lightens like your shoulders, but it really brings that community and relationship involvement. So there's a cohesion and it's not just you. Like we can't do it by ourselves. So this topic is so aligned right now.
Beautiful. And what a divinely feminine thing to accept, which is to receive, right? To receive help. That is, to me, that shows like abundance, realizing that you're not in this lack mindset, right? Where I have to do everything and you're in your so much in your masculine energy and you're allowing yourself to receive help. Beautiful.
Yeah.
How has that made an impact in your life, Josie, ever since you almost it's almost like you surrendered and
Yeah. I mean, from speaking about it before, I literally went from anxiety to an inner peace. When the world is chaos around me and there's so many moving parts, even last night at Thanksgiving, like there was a lot going on because there's family, right? Everyone's cooking dinner, playing games, kids are screaming. It's like complete chaos. But I'm like sitting in my chair watching it all just happen. And there's this inner peace, like being so comfortable in that moment with all the chaos. Um, when you really sit with it and work on that self love,
mm,
the relationship with yourself, you can get to that inner peace, which is just a profound experience and loving in yourself. So yeah.
Beautiful. Lastly, I want to say a couple words for just for anyone who is in a season of isolation or feeling lonely or by themselves. I do know that the holiday season, I feel like, sheds this light towards so much family gatherings, connections, friendsgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And so it can really highlight the pain that goes with being alone if you don't have those connections right now or you're just in a season where you're trying to prioritize yourself. Like, I just want to say a few words to you, and that you're not alone in that either. There's a lot of people who go through those seasons, including myself. I've had seasons of where I was in isolation for a couple of years. um and I do believe everything happens for a reason. Even this time right now is serving a purpose that your soul needed to go through. Some sort of soul lesson, expansion, um, strength. I believe when you go through such seasons, you come out really stronger than before. Yeah.
and adding to that, Aisha, trust in the season that you're in. Trust that you're meant to go through what you're going through and allow those feelings to come up and surface and embrace sitting in that. Sometimes you got to embrace the sucky parts,
Mhm.
which on the other side of that is strength and abundance. growth, expansion.
Sometimes the only way through is through.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you have to go through a season of dating yourself, date yourself for a little bit. There's a lot of discoveries there that, a lot of things that maybe you weren't aware of about yourself, things that this is like getting to know yourself, right? Getting to know all the parts of you. This is an opportunity for you to really like embrace all those parts, get to know those parts, and figure out which parts do you want to continue to take with you, or which parts do you want to shed, because we're always shedding parts of us.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think to really know yourself and understand that isolation too. Um, I know Aisha said bats are super divine feminine, like in the moment, just that calmness and stillness, a lot of clarity can come to you. Um, for me, it's journaling. So asking myself, why do I feel lonely in this moment? Why do I feel like there's not community? And keep asking those questions to yourself and writing it down, because when you write it down, you'll uncover what was subconsciously in the back of your mind, naturally through releasing it through journaling. So yeah, I love all these things, and everyone's different and they have self-love in different ways. So just finding out what works for you to give yourself that love and support that you need.
Hmm.
Oh, I love what you were saying, Steph, about releasing and shedding, and then what you said about journaling. I believe when we are energetically or physically, whether that's our room is messy or we have clutter in our mind and in our soul, when we release all of that and we sit in a season of isolation with just yourself, it's truly a gift because when you release all that's not aligning, all you have is like a blank canvas. And then you're like, whoa, what can I fill this with? And I genuinely believe when you get to be by yourself truly, you get to know yourself, you get to build yourself. And it's like starting over with a clean slate, and you can build yourself. You can get to know yourself. Like for me, when I lived alone in Dallas, I spent a lot of time in like, oh wow, like I don't, because I was always such a go with the flow and people pleaser. Like when people were around me, it was hard for me to take up space. So it truly allowed me to really take up all the space. I was the only one taking space. So take up that space. It's there for you. There's a reason why it's happening for you to get to know yourself. For me, also it allowed me to step into creativity where I could
Mm.
channel my creative gifts. I could channel spirit. I could dance in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and nobody could say anything with like the speakers banging. Maybe my neighbors, but it's all about perspective. If you can shift that perspective of, oh, it's so sad and scary to be alone, to, oh wow, this is so nice. This is all this time is for me. And one day you're going to be so busy with so much family, with so many connections, friends, business, that you're going to be like, damn, I wish I could have an hour to myself. You'd be wishing for this time.
Yeah.
All about
Yeah.
It's yes, yes. Oh, this was such a great talk, ladies.
I have to say one thing too. I what keeps popping in my mind is I don't find people, people find me. And what that means is when you're living in your authentic self,
Mhm.
you're not worried about what other people think of you. You're not worried about shining so bright to hurt these other people's feelings, because you're authentic to your true self. And when you're authentic to your true self, it's amazing how many people are attracted to you. And that is another way
Mm.
to build that relationship. So you just naturally gravitate towards you. So, Aisha, you couldn't have said it better with embracing this isolation moments in time, because it's just a moment in time.
Yeah, be magnetic. Be magnetic.
Magnetic. It's true.
Yeah.
Like attracts like, and light attracts light. When you're more in your light, when you know more of yourself, when you love yourself, when you're just happy, like it's true. When somebody is happy, you can't help but to like be curious to like why that person is like that. That energy is so attractive.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can energetically feel like if somebody is, like think about the people that you are energetically attracted to or look up to. Like what is it about them that you
Mm,
feel like you feel drawn to, right? Is it on a soul level? Is it, the way they speak, they express, they, think about the different parts of like these people that you look up to, and think about who do you want to be? Obviously, we are our own unique person, and we're never going to be exactly like somebody else, nor do we want, I wouldn't want to be like somebody else. I'm me, right? So think about, who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in this world? How do you want to use your voice? How do you want to express yourself?
be
And
inspired.
yeah, how do you want to show up, and most importantly to you, and continue to work on her. It doesn't happen overnight, but think about all the qualities that you already have, and all the qualities that you want to bring into your essence, and continue to work on her
Her and him.
or him or
And
they
them.
or them. Yeah.
Beautiful
This is
conversation.
this was amazing, ladies.
I wish you all such a good, soulful holiday season. If you have connections and your friendships and your family members, hold on to them tightly. The world has been going through mass purge and so much happening, and this is the time to really be grateful for those people in our lives and for yourself, including yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
As we are coming to a close of 2023, think
Mm-hmm.
about the type of connections that you want to bring along to the new year, including that connection with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Till next time, I hope you all find what makes your soul flow. And if you're looking to further connect, our Instagram handle is on the screen if you are watching. And if you are listening on Apple or Spotify, it is Flow with Aysha, Soul Glow Coaching, and The Divine Self by Josie.
Remember to love yourself.
Remember to love yourself, and this will be linked in the show notes. Till next time, bye.
Bye.
So flow, so flow. So flow, so flow.